Well, it is the first Wednesday of the month, and it's time for a monthly visit with County Judge Ricardo Samaniego. Judge, as always, thanks for coming on the show today. Let's start with today's hearing about your shutdown order. The Texas Attorney General's office and some local restaurant owners looking for a temporary injunction. And one of the things that Judge William Moody mentioned during the hearing this morning is that he wants you and the Texas Attorney General's office to reach a solution on this issue before his decision comes on Friday. So you've seen today's number of new cases. Have you reached out to Governor Abbott or Mayor Margo about it?
Absolutely. Well, he didn't exclusively say to Mayor Margo. It seemed like it's the governor, obviously, that and the Restaurant Association that have combined in the lawsuit. And he was very specific that I reach out to the governor. And I decided that it would be best through our legal team to see what the governor has in mind. I think it's very clear at this time that where I'm at. I'm basing it. I just came out of a meeting with the City-County United Health Task Force, and I was very clear. Am I getting the right support? And I feel that they are giving me the right support. They're giving me the recommendations that at this point in time, that's the best thing that we could do. So the governor knows my position. There's no doubt about that because it's explicit in the order. What I need to know is that what's his plan? Is his plan simply to stay status quo and go back to his order? Because that would really put us at a distance. So I've asked our legal team to reach out to their legal team to simply ask the question, what is it that you have in mind for El Paso, to see if it makes sense to want to talk to each other? Because if he tells me that he's at the other end, that doesn't make sense. I need to keep moving forward. Just want to very quickly, his threshold was for the governor was when we reached 15% at our hospitals, that was an alarm. And he said it very clearly in his order that 15 was an alarm. We're already at almost 44% of all our patients in the hospital are COVID related. We've got 22.8% positivity, and right now we have over 21,000 people, 21,902 people are positive right at this moment, active positive at this moment. As you can see, Mark, this is a community that there's a tremendous amount of opportunities to get the virus by being out. When we had the meeting at Commissioner's Court, I think Dr. Ocaranza hasn't stepped up and said he's supporting the stay at home, but he mentioned at least 5 times that it was important to stay at home. And so we know that staying at home is going to be very important for us. Right now, our hospitals are saturated. We're building capacity for morgues. We're going to be at our 6th morgue to be able to handle the souls that have been dying. And this is the barely the tip of the iceberg as to where we're headed. We're headed in a direction that is just unbelievable. The timing was amazing for us. That order at that point in time, had it been followed completely, would have been an amazing timing, because at that point in time, our numbers were about half of what they are now. We're looking at 800, 1,000, 1,400. And today we have 3,100. So you talk about timing. If right now, because I have 3,100, I would begin the process of a stay-at-home order, we'd be 7 or 8 days away from where we are now. And look at our critical situation. And it is saturated. Right now, anyone that is headed to the hospital on an emergency is in a very critical situation, not by COVID. Any injury, accident, if you had a stroke or anything, you're now in a very vulnerable situation. So for me, Mark, if you look at what happened in New York, that was more disastrous to the economy than anything else. And for us to pull back until we're ready to move forward seems much more logical and more reasonable. That I'd rather do this for a couple of weeks to see if we could give them some breathing room so that they can function and our healthcare system works, than for us to continue to move forward at this point in time. So the numbers are on our side, Mark. Or the legal framework, I think it was very clear that we stand on very good legal grounds. And so looking forward to Judge Moody's, what he's going to issue tomorrow. He said it would be no later than Thursday or, maybe Friday morning, but he's shooting for Thursday. And I think the numbers show that we are in a desperate situation. And I understand the economy. I understand what's going on. But this is about pulling a player out so he could finish the season, not to put him back in the game, and then you can't use him anymore. And that's what I'm worried. If we don't pull back, this is going to have a long-term impact on our economy, much bigger than if we move forward. And so those that are, I've said that anybody who doesn't agree on a stay-at-home order is a chest pain away from understanding how critical it is for us to have this stay home. It's just a very critical situation. When you talk to CEO Jacobs and Tron, what's happening in the hospital, or Dr. Rascon and what's happening at our medical examiner's office, it's just very frightening. And I'm not trying to be an alarmist, but I'm just being realistic by the numbers. And we look at the numbers, there's nothing else that we need to look at. Remember, we're on stage one of the dashboard. Stage one, that's the red alarm. You saw what's happening in Juarez. They're having an amount of deaths that we've never seen. Culberson now has higher than ever. Hudspeth, Doña Ana is having their challenges. So we're in a region that is extremely vulnerable, and for us to believe that we need to move forward just doesn't seem reasonable. It just doesn't seem reasonable to me, especially if we're looking at a temporary, addressing our healthcare system in a temporary manner, and then moving forward towards the economy. I'm not leaving the economy out of the big picture. As Judge Moody said, if you look at the big picture, everybody's getting hurt. But a business that doesn't operate right now is very different than from our health system breaking down and then not able to attend to it, and then backing to the point that we can't receive patients. That'll really be damaging for the economy. So that's where we are now, Mark. We're in a situation that we need support from the state. The governor offered and issued a stay-at-home order when the numbers were high in San Antonio, Austin, Houston, and Dallas. He thought that was the right strategy at that point in time. So why isn't it the right strategy for us here in El Paso? We participated in the stay-at-home order when our numbers were low. And now we're just saying isolate our situation. We're not asking anybody to do the same, but this is what we need to do at this point in time. It worked for those big cities, and it should work for us as well. There's nothing in the order, not one single thing in the order that is different from something that the governor has attempted at one time or other than the curfew. Everything else is within his order at one time or the other. So I'm not aligned, maybe the timing's different, but I'm aligned to what he believed would be the answer to lowering our numbers when they get critical like they are at this point in time.
County Judge Ricardo Samaniego, thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
And stay with us.